I guess just a good weather week to get everything started with a bunch of new faces out here, isn't it?
I know we're in a little drought, need a little bit of rain, but it's kind of perfect for practicing baseball. And we had a slower build-up this year, starting there at the end of August when school started, and October 2nd before we start team practice. So these coaches and players have been at this for a while, and they're ready to get this full team practice segment underway.
Just kind of looking at the transfer class that you brought in, just what kind of sticks out, through these first few days, and I guess maybe who in particular sticks out to you?
Yeah, I love the roster, and in this day it's really hard for us specifically, like an SEC baseball team, to look back 4 years ago, because how much has changed. And you go NIL and you go transfer portal, the opportunity, these rosters are bigger and stronger than ever. I feel that way about our club, but I would imagine everybody in our league feels the same way. But we have had some guys just in, we haven't played a game yet. We'll start that today, but the batting practice and seeing somebody take ground balls and seeing them show up every day and work out at 6 o'clock in the morning, we have gotten a feel for some guys. And the biggest thing from last year's ball club is probably like a third rounder in Cole Foster, and a third baseman that had the most home runs in a single season, and then a catcher that was one of the best defenders and throwers in our league. I think those were the holes that we thought we had to fill. And I think about, to your finally answering your question, like a Derek Fabian from transferring from Florida is somebody that has experience. I think about Cooper Weiss that made 2 errors in Division I baseball last year at the shortstop position. I think about even a freshman that we have, Eric Guevara, who's just absolutely blown our socks off. A guy that's shortstop and is going to play a little bit of third base. And really, when you have 3 shortstops of the caliber that I'm mentioning, those guys, hey, somebody can win it. Not all 3 guys can play short. Somebody can move to third, somebody can go to second base. And you still talk about the returners you have, like an everyday starter and like a Caden Green that's directing traffic and showing them the Auburn way. But that's where I really think about where I'm thankful that the transfer portal existed to be able to get some guys. We lost our 2 high school guys in the first and second round, and these guys have just become more important each and every day. And then Ike Irish, a freshman All-American, basically with his bat now gets to play the position that he come to play at catcher. And having a returner like Carter Wright, a senior back, is huge. And then even the freshmen to get to 3, because you need as many guys back there catching every day, and a Cale Strickland here. Those are the positions I focus on, because around the rest of the field, we have 47% of our at-bats back. And when you have like a Bobby Pierce and a Chris Stanfield, that gets you started pretty good in the outfield. And Cooper McMurray back at first base, this has been our focus. And even on the mound, we're super excited, because we probably had 45% of our innings back last year, and we walk in and start this fall practice with 80% of our innings returning from last year.
Could you dig into the pitching piece a little bit more? Obviously, that's going to play a huge role into how successful you'll be. What do you like about the staff, and what do you want to see develop, I guess, in the fall and in the spring?
Yeah, because last year was so tough. When Joseph went down after opening weekend, and you had less than half your innings returning. I mean, that first half was tough, and we grinded through there, and those guys got more comfortable the second half. So you kind of want to pick up where you left off. You don't want to have to go backwards any. But I want to mention 5 guys: Christian Herberholtz, Tanner Bauman, Joseph Gonzalez, are 3 pitchers, and then Bobby Pierce and Cooper McMurray. Those are all guys that really had a sincere chance in the 20-round amateur draft last year to leave the program. I think when you talk about, the foundation and feeling good about your program, is having those 3 pitchers and 2 position players to come back. That's where I think about building a club. But Herbert Holtz wound up being a proven starter for us. We all know what Joseph can do, not only in the SEC, but like his collegiate experience with Team USA. And somebody like Tanner Bauman that did through some big innings, another trusted piece in the bullpen. I think that's a great place to start. Will Cannon, who I think you'll visit with a little bit, is somebody that may have been our most competitive guy on our mound last year, is back for another year. So we're just deeper. The clay the clay that we have to mold with the pitching staff is deeper than it's ever been since I've been here, and that's good. But it's every tee for a new pitching coach comes in, and how does he get all that working into working and put those pieces into place. Some of the new guys are exciting. Cam Tilley's probably the headline of that class. Another Team USA guy that was one of the three that wound up making it to school. I mentioned the position players earlier, but from Indiana, big arm, and I just think we have more pieces that it's not even good to mention here because the mound is probably the deepest pitching staff that we've probably had.
How's Joseph looking, and what's the plan for him this fall?
He started Monday throwing. We've held him back, but now that we've started him, our plan is to not take a break. So all these pitchers will throw this fall, then take a break for probably 30, 40 days, and then ramp it back up in January. The plan with Joseph is he started Monday, probably have to stay here over the break and continue to build up through the entire season. So he might be more ready for opening weekend than any pitcher. But we've delayed instead of the up and down. We're starting, and we're going to try to carry him through the whole year.
Who will you work as starters this fall?
More than we'll get. Right now, we're scheduled to play 3 games a week, so that gives you an opportunity to audition 6 starters, and then if you're throwing another potential starter, if there's 6 more that's going to throw behind a starter, then you can change it week to week, and because you never know how it shapes up. So we'll probably have 6 starters go a week, and then maybe 4 of the 6, but you're probably changing out a couple each time to take a good look at everybody. Everybody on this pitching staff, where they came from, they were starters. And you have to develop relievers. We're at that level where it's important. You can be taken well, and it's required. I think of Blake Burkhalter. He was the highest drafted reliever in college baseball, 2 years ago after the 22 season. And, this league, you can be a first rounder, you can be a second rounder throwing out of the bullpen, but all these guys have a ton of experience starting, and we'll have to spend a lot of time trying to let some of these guys compete for it, maybe 8 to 10 guys through fall practice, but really trying to develop, who's going to throw in the beginning, in the middle, and the end is huge, because a lot of these guys, they're missing experiences from coming in a ball game, in the middle or the end.
And how do you feel about the construction going on right now? Are you excited about what's coming here?
I am. I got my whistle. I borrowed it from Coach Pearl. So if all these great problems to have with construction, but as guys get close to temporary fencing and anything, I got to be able to blow the whistle and stop, and rounding third base and coming home, we're not going to be able to slide. I don't want any plays at the plate, so I'll have to blow my whistle, and I'm probably going to make the players mad, so I'm going to probably be some judgment calls on safe or out, but these are the kind of challenges you want. This is the good stuff, to where we're building and hammering away as we're having this interview here, but at the same time, this is just progress for our program. We're not going to miss a beat. I'm just going to have to blow my whistle a few times.
You mentioned Everett. Just what has he brought to you guys so far, and what do you enjoy most about working with him?
The first thing, my first evaluation is he reminds me so much of Tim Hudson, somebody that could come in and focus for a long period of time. Second thing I noticed is the instant respect with the players. It didn't take him long when he started working and going. This is a guy that pitched in the major leagues, a guy that was a professional scout, a guy that was a minor league pitching coordinator, so he ran over 100 pitchers trying to help them get to the big leagues. So I sensed the respect from our players immediately. He has a technology piece that, if I've been sitting here as a pitching coach my whole career, but playing head coach for the last 8 years, the new Kinatrack system we have, all the advances in technology, it's hard to keep up with. And this is somebody that is a pitching coach and has done it at the highest level, but is also as up to date as anybody in college baseball. And that's why I called him a game changer, kind of in the press conference or when we started talking about him. I think this is a guy that's going to help us take the next step and fill in all those gaps of analytics for us. So I'm as excited to bring Everett Tiefert on as I was for Carl or Gabe or anybody in the past.
We're going to talk to Weiss and Cannon. Just what stands out about both those guys briefly? Just what do you like about them?
Yeah, him and the others. This team's been a joy. I don't want anything to change now that we're feel like we're in a team practice window. They've gotten up, they've posted, they rush in and drag out, you know, so without really setting forth a rhythm. I don't know if it's the older players or if it's just the nature of our people. These guys are in here early. I can't walk through it any time of day and there's not guys in the locker room or hanging out at the ballpark, and I like that. And, you know, you can tell teams when you have your team meeting is if everybody beats me there, I think that's a good thing. And I think we've all had a couple of teams to where you're standing there waiting on everybody. So I have a good first impression of this club, and I think it's probably led for some older guys. But they're kind of ready to play. Everything that we've asked them to do, they've done it with some joy. They've done it like they're ready to go and like they enjoy being at the baseball field. I think that's a good place for us to start fall practice.